After a long winter's break and 5 seasons of racing, 35 weeks in the making, it's time for another edition of the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series. Presented live here by Vspeed and Racing Revolution, it's the Duels here at Daytona. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and after our long winter's break and crowning our 5th season champion, 5-time champion Roeder is coming back to defend his title, and it all starts here with the qualifying event at Daytona. This will dictate the inside and outside row for the main event and the KDL Truck Repair 250 next Wednesday. Of course, our camera packs here, customized and tailored for Vspeed by the best, Dougie Beard, providing those cameras here this evening. And it's going to be 2 races, 30 laps in length. Drivers have done their dry qualifying run. The single car qualifying just completed a moment ago. But now it's time to line them up at this 2.5-mile oval for 30 laps at a time. They will have 1 fast repair, 2 green-white checkers, and of course 2 dual events for the inside and outside row. So Daytona, a track that really needs no introduction, so we're going to take you down trackside and get the starting lineup on the left-hand side of your screen. Because they are doing this in a heat format, the qualifying will go as such with Nick Alves, Tyler Harrison, Alex Forget, Marube, Kevin Orlando, and Trevor Earhart on the top 5 for this event. Row number... I apologize. Row number 4 is going to belong to Roeder with Christopher Schaefer in 8th spot, Daniel Holloway and Justin Ritchie rounding out your top 10. Timing and scoring tried to jump around on me a little bit here. Ben Laughter and Ryan Manaz, will start in 12th position. That's a new name for me. Michael Bennett starting in 13th. Michael Call going to start back in 14th position. Malcolm Simpson and Trevor Keith electing not to grid in this one. So we'll see if he had a connection issue, if he can get back into this. But here we go for another week to start off season number 6. 2026 Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series is live for dual race number 1. Harrison took the lead there through 1 and 2, but in this next-gen car, it's going to be difficult. The outside line, typically dominant in this car. You're going to see several lead changes before we even get to the start-finish line per lap. You see the 27 get to the outside. That's Kevin Orlando running in heat number 1. He'll take the top spot. On to lap number 2, another lead change. As soon as we went into turn 1, it's Dylan Picklesheimer taking over the top spot. Christopher Schaefer in the 23 giving the push. And there's Ryan Manaz, who's already gained 9 spots in this time. Just 2 laps and already flirting with the lead. He'll have the 5 of Michael Call. And a block here from the 33 to try to keep him at bay. Seimer works the outside, is able to maintain the lead for a lap led, but this is not a points event, so you can lead all the laps you want, but most importantly, you need to lead the last one, as we saw Christopher Schaefer with a little bit of a connection issue there on the outside. Inside there for the 23. Orlando had to check up, didn't know where that 23 car was going to reappear. And so now he's backed it up, that inside line. Now the momentum swinging back to the bottom of the racetrack. And I believe the 81 of Manaz is probably overheating. He's breathing it a little bit here on the outside. And that'll break it up here and let Christopher Schaefer get his lap led. I'd like to thank everyone for coming back, and that hype video that Michael Call generated for us. We premiered here to kick off season 2026. Of course, Chapman Environmental Services coming back to sign on for the 6th season. I believe that's 6 seasons in a row that Chapman Environmental has been the title series sponsor here. Of course, Coastal Financial coming back, all about bugs. Earhart Homes, Butt Kicker also involved. A lot of sponsorships throughout the season as well with KDL Truck Repair. In the first race of the season. We'll take a look at the schedule when we get a moment here during our break, but a long season, and as mentioned in that hype video, we're going to have some things out of the ordinary. Auto Club's going to replace one of the weeks. And I'm looking forward to that, seeing these cars go around a nostalgic track in California. Thankfully preserved in the archives of iRacing. Manaz taking the lead here off of turn 4, though. He gets left. Christopher Schaefer hangs him out to dry. Schaefer's going to lead at the line by about 500 of a second that time around. But a late move there, and you'll see this get dicier and dicier as the race goes on. Would not be surprised to see these drivers pull later and later moves, trying to get ahead of one another. So the 2x2 starting to fall apart a little bit here. Again, the top 25 in points. As we go 3 wide here, the 33 of Picklesheimer left into the sucker hole. The outside line really got it going. Who do you block? If you're the 23 of Schaefer, I think you stay to the inside. The 81 gives him a shot. There was no one there to slow down, and the 5 could have just went to the middle. I think that's where the 23 defended. But again, you have to be careful making moves like that, because you drop back down in front of the 81 and you might not clear. Crazy move there to the inside. Again, the 5 of Michael Call now coming off of turns 3 and 4. He'll have the lead as we take it track side. Watch the speed going by at 193 miles per hour here across the tri-oval. And it'll start to get a little physical. You'll start to see these drivers pushing a little bit longer, creeping into the picture as your 5-time champion Roeder up on the outside. He's going to give the shot to the 5 of Michael Call and see if they can get something going. That blinking issue on the bottom has me worried for Christopher Schaefer. Has me worried for that entire inside line. It's going to break the momentum as Michael Bennett takes the lead. You'll see the 21 in the middle of Daniel Holloway. He's going to try to move up with the 33. We're not even a third of the way through this race and already starting the 3-wide trend around Daytona. 8 laps into the season. Michael Call with a lap led. Move to the inside, a dive down to the bottom to get around Call. He's going to leave him out there with Bennett by themselves. Gets in front of Ben Lapter, and here goes Rob Rader to try to lead a lap. They've single filed out, a break in the pack here, and something must have happened in the background. So we'll take a look at our instant replay. Something happened to these guys just a moment ago, and I think it had to do with this 3 wide. Watch coming off of turn 4. You see the 33 and the 21 in the middle. I believe that's the 44 on the outside. Bounces off the wall. The 4 gets into the back on 41, rather. And there's where it goes wrong. No caution for that, but the 44 does go for a loop. Single car involved, and Malcolm Simpson. The first car pretty much out of this one. Gonna start at the tail end of this field. So if you're Simpson, you're praying for a caution. In fact, if you are 7th place Ryan Manaz here, and you've got Kevin Orlando pushing you, you're going to lose the draft even more. Even if you're 7th place on back, you're looking for a caution as well. Nick Alves, Tyler Harrison, they're off. They could have a chance to go collect up here on Manaz and Orlando. I don't think they're going to be able to catch Rob Rader. That's 5 seconds, and it's usually about a 1/10 or 2 a lap. I don't think they have enough time. They need a yellow to have a shot at this. So the 5 that break away, 6 now with Michael Call. They'll have a shot at this for a good qualifying effort. Again, this is not a points event, but it does make Daytona a little bit easier. Especially when you can start up front and avoid the carnage, the big one. Daytona notorious for multi-car incidents and destroying the beginning of the season for a lot of drivers. In fact, Rob Rader did not have a good start to season 5, and it took up until week 23 for the 53 to get to victory lane. But once he found it, he started to put together podium finishes and had a couple wins there in the playoffs to seal the deal. Tyler Harrison catching up quickly with Nick Alves. They're going to engulf the 27 and 81. They have caught up to them, but they fall in line. Really surprised there, but I guess they thought it would be better to just get behind them here. I don't think I like that move. I would have overtaken them on the outside. They had such a head of steam there. I would have went to the right-hand side, got in front of these guys, maybe even did a crossover on the draft and put a new car up front so you can keep that momentum train going. They checked up probably a good 15 miles per hour to not run over these guys, and that's time lost. Malcolm Simpson about 7.7 seconds back from Trevor Earhart and 40 seconds almost from the lead. This lead pack is continuing to pull away. The deficit between 6th and 7th is around 7 seconds now. It was 5, just almost 6 there a moment ago. And it only continues to grow as they thunder around here. And welcome back, everybody in the chat. If you are enjoying tonight's action and you've came over here from anywhere else, we have Goat Locker live right now on Wednesday evenings. 47 of you in the chat. Hope you're hyped and excited, as I am, to bring back the Chapman Cup Series. It's been a while. We go all the way back to November since the last time we had it live here on Vspeed. But so far, caution-free. Race recap, Rob Rader, once he took the lead, he hasn't given it up. 4 lead changes, and 4 of those happening within the first 10 laps. And here we come for Pit stops under green flag conditions. This is one opportunity where some of these drivers could catch up. Rob Raeder overshoots the entry. Ben Laughter, a black flag, and these cars are going to have a 30-second hold. Penalties for both the 53 and the 64 on the entrance to pit, and they're going to have to be at least 30 seconds in the box. Second group coming around. They can make up a lot of ground here if they can execute pit road. Will they come down this time by? Looks like they're going to stay out another lap, try to gain some more ground. Justin Ritchie out there by himself. First time we've mentioned his name. Michael Bennett coming back out on the racetrack. Of course, Rob Raeder and Ben Laughter with their pit stop hold penalty. Raeder just going to park it. I don't even think he's going to pull out of this stall, so I think he's done for the evening. We'll take you back on the replay there and just see what happened when we get a moment. I'm going to find out if the 81 and the 27 decide to pit this time around. Going to stay on another lap. They've stretched it now to make it a one-stop race. Guaranteed. Of course, I don't think there was any question for 30 laps here. %, max fuel, 50% racing distance here in this series. Of course, that one fast repair, the 44 of Malcolm Simpson, decided to stay on pit road and get some of that damage repaired. Had pretty minimal damage, but now going to come down for his top off on fuel. Looks like another lap around here. Manaz and company with Orlando, Alves, Harrison, Bourget. They trap Rob Raeder. He's back out on the racetrack now. He's got the back of this group. And Laughter way far out of this here. And I think Rob Raeder was just trying to time that exit of pit and get caught up to these guys. Come back out on the racetrack in front of them. Merge into their group and help any teammates that might be up there. Last time by, though, that second group with Michael Bennett ran a 47.155. Manaz and these drivers here that are coming down pit road now. Pit entrance for the 81, the 27, the 19, Nick Alves, and the 24. There's Tyler Harrison in the background. And the Recharge Rally Twisted T-Cam. Into the pit stall. It was a 47.155. The second group a little bit slower this time, though. They're going to get their lap back and then go on by. So even with some of that time lost, some of the drivers lost, they're able to get by this group. And the second group just now merging onto the racetrack with Alex Forget about 4 seconds behind now. So they made up about 3 seconds on pit road. They have time here. A lot of ground made up. It's going to merge to about 5 seconds once they get these things up to full song. But Manaz needs to get to the back bumper of the 19 now. If they want any shot at stopping the bleeding, they need to get pushing. They're not organized enough to do that yet. Trevor Keith having motor issues here tonight. Sounds like a GPU problem. Keith Stone 48. Check him out on Twitch. But tonight, having GPU issues. Thank you for coming in and dropping into the broadcast booth. Michael Bennett holding the lead as we come up on the closing laps. 9 to go here from Daytona in dual race number 1. This dictating the inside row for the qualifying order. 15 cars started, 15 cars on the track. 11 still on the lead lap. Rob Rader and Ben Lapter with a penalty. Trevor Earhart also had problems on pit road. Malcolm Simpson had problems with contact going into turn 1. He was the first car to go a lap down, has not been able to recover, and has been caution-free since the green flag dropped. 8 left now with Bennett, and we might see a late race strategy here with only 4 cars. I think that 5 actually. Tail end of this group. I believe we have Bennett, Call, Holloway, or Jet way back here. So it's 3 cars in this front group that are actually racing for a position. They have picked up a lot of lap traffic here. So it's going to come down to the top 3 here on your screen. The back half of these drivers just riding around. Here's Justin Ritchie. He's going to lose a lap here in the 55 with damage. And now 7 laps to go. Under the lights here at Daytona, the weather, the track conditions, 75 and 72, pretty calm here, a lot of grip. And so drivers that came down pit road only topping off with fuel for this short stint as we approach the 5 to go mark. 6 laps left here with Bennett in the lead. He's now led 5 laps. Again, going back, he has to lead lap 30. That's the important one here. Not for points, it's for qualifying, it's for the top spots in the qualifying order, so he needs to get the win. He has to hold on to it. But Michael Call, Daniel Holloway are already devising a strategy of their own, and it's lap traffic behind them that could be the deciding factor in this race. If we make it to the white flag and any one of these drivers step out, it's going to take lap traffic. I can guarantee you this top 3 is not going to push one another across the line. The cars behind them that do not count for position are going to dictate who gets the push and who gets the win. They have nothing to lose, nothing to gain by pushing any one of these drivers. So I'm sure if I'm Michael Call, I'm trying to get the word out on who's behind me, who's going to work with me in this pack of lap cars. You have Rob Rader, Ben Lapter. I would pick Rob Rader if I wanted to push. In fact, I would even go as far as to let one of these lap cars get in front of me, which is exactly what is happening with Rob Rader going to the inside. Let one of these lappers get in front of me and push them on by the rest of the pack. Here we go. 5 laps left and already setting these 2 up for failure. I like the strategy here by Daniel Holloway. It's a veteran move that could win this duel 1 for the 21. And how many times last season did we see a driver like Daniel Holloway get a victory at a plate track? We also saw Kevin Orlando perform there, but only to have the wins taken away. That all-elusive win with an asterisk next to it every single time. And here off of turn 4, it's going to be 3 laps left as we approach the Earhart-Holmes white flag, Michael Bennett, Michael Call, and Daniel Holloway, the top three. Lap traffic with the 53 of Rob Roeder, the 64 of Ben Lapter. You also have Trevor Earhart and Justin Ritchie in this mix. Off-center bump there from the 5. Behind the leader cam, off the back end of Michael Bennett coming off of turn 4. We're going to get 2 to go. Another lap car going to be included in this. Dylan Picklesheimer going to drop down. This is where you premeditate your moves. Daytona can all happen within a lap. You can come out of turn 4 in 5th place and somehow get the lead. It's all about the spread. And look at these drivers starting to give a little cushion, starting to size each other up for this push. Not yet. Rob Roeder did not go up. Michael Call will go up. That's not what I thought would happen. It looks like Bennett's going to get the push from the 53. 3 cars go to the outside. This move too soon here for Michael Call. And Daniel Holloway going to give the shove on by. It's going to be bumper to bumper. No one's going to lift. White flag is out here at Daytona in dual race number 1. One to go, presented by Earhart-Holmes. Love where you live. And Michael Bennett is fighting on the inside with a heavy push from a lap car of Rob Roeder. Is it going to be enough to keep him up front? They're pulling draft here, but Michael Call loses ground. It looks like Daniel Holloway got overheated, and that might just seal the deal. Not enough pressure on the 14 as they come off of the final turn for the final time. Michael Bennett is going to win dual race number 1 and puts his car up front for the 250. Congratulations to Michael Bennett. That push from Rob Roeder across the line. The move there on the backstretch, and it looked like Michael Call and Daniel Holloway had overheated already. Tried to make that move for the lead a lap sooner with 2 to go. Had they waited just one more lap, they might have had a chance. Show your final race results here with Michael Bennett, Michael Call, Daniel Holloway, Manaz Forget, and we lost the telemetry because the session flipped over, so there you have it. We got your top 10 up on the screen at the very least, so now it's time to move to our second duel event. Duel number 2, about to begin. Here's the qualifying order on the left-hand side of your screen. Jeremy Burns going to have that unofficial Coastal Financial Pole Award. Al Likens and Parker Johnston starting in the top 3. Fred Pennington will start in 4th. Joe Joya rounding into the top 5. Matt Robinson 6th spot to round out row number 3. Brandon, I believe that's from Habitat. Yeah, I'll get that one right. Habitat is what I'm going to go with for now. Dakota Floyd out there on the racetrack. Grant Turner in the top 10 with Carter Lenz. We get set up here for dual race number 2. For Sam Taylor, Justice Murphy, Kyle Stewart, Michael Reed, and Jeremiah Nelson. Only 15 cars for this one, is Hayden James having a problem as well in the 95. Not able to get that thing fired up and onto pit road. Keith, I don't know what the GPU issues were here tonight, but yeah, that itch needs scratch next week. Next Wednesday is the real when it counts, so hopefully you can get that sorted back up. Stacey May, congrats on Michael Bennett getting the win. Here we go with Jeremy Burns, a driver that needs no introduction. One of the most winningest drivers with the Metroplex number 9. Going to start up here on the front row. And the 13 of Al Likens to the outside to lead them into turn 1. Pace car is going to pull out of the way. Will we see it go caution free here again? And dual race number 2. It made all these drivers pay for the mistakes they made, whether it be damage on the car, missing pit road. There was no opportunity to get back on the lead lap. Will we see that again? Dual race number 2 underway. The Chapman Cup Series. Right now, Likens taking over the top spot on the outside. He'll drop down in front of Jeremy Burns. So Likens taking over the point, but a big head of steam there. Fred Pennington gave him the shove to get him up there. Thought Pennington was going to have, I believe that's Matt Robinson on the outside to get him by. That did not happen. The 30 car getting a little squirrely here on the outside. A offset push there from the 11 of Robinson. Thought they were going to go around. Lock there on the outside line. Likens going to stop the momentum from Pennington. You saw the 11 getting the push. The inside kind of falling apart. Here comes Dakota Floyd. Pushes the 11. They're going to make another block. Dakota Floyd all over the back end of the 30 car. They're going to get connected off of turn 4. And based off that momentum, it looks like the 30 could take the lead going into 1. He will not lead this time by. The 13's able to clear. He can jump back up in front of him if they get the momentum going. Excellent job here by Al Likens to hold on to the lead. 3 laps in. The outside falling apart a little bit here. It looks like not as organized and Floyd not able to get it going. So that's going to allow the 9 of Burns, who's been trapped on the inside. You saw the move up there. He's going to try to help the 11. The 7 of Joe Joy on the Pennzoil 7 machine. Going to go up high and follow this. But it goes all the way back to around 10th position for Dakota Floyd. Could not get the 30 car going. Gonna move here to the middle. The 48 of Parker Johnston. Gonna move there to try to take over the top spot. Likens still holding on. Attack on the bottom. On the top. Gonna need that phonetic spelling on the back end of this race if you could. If anyone out there in the broadcast chat knows this last name, can help me out here. As Dakota Floyd gets loose in the middle. And there's a wiggle. Cars around. We're going to see our first caution. We have to see a yellow on that one. Cars are stopped on the middle of the racetrack. There's 4 cars involved here. Where is the yellow? There has to be one. They must have turned cautions off tonight. I think that was yellow worthy. I don't know your opinion out there in the chat, but this looks like a caution-worthy incident, in my opinion. Brett Alt, welcome into the channel. And yeah, that was the 30 car. And I think Dakota Floyd gets a little bit loose here. We're going to watch this one more time from our blimp camera, but you can see the 30 comes down a little bit. There's a bad bump there, and then it's just pinball for the 57. But that's where the 30 car gets turned. And then you see, I believe that was the 31 of Jeremiah Nelson involved. Carter Lenz, nowhere to go. And we'll watch this one time on board with Carter Lenz. There's just absolutely nowhere to go here for the 66. Suddenly end your lap, and was actually on board there with the 30 car for a moment. But Lenz getting just as bad of the damage out of that situation. And again, this gets back. This should have been a caution. I don't know if the admins have decided not to have yellows, if maybe they were turned off for time. But 3 cars involved in the middle of the racetrack. And somehow Dakota Floyd was able to hang on to the draft through all of that. So impressive there, but I don't know if he picked up any damage here on that machine. We'll try to get a look at it as he goes into turn 3. It doesn't appear that he has any damage, and of course that little line there is because they've updated the models on the iRacing service of the next gen car. So that paint scheme, just a little tweaking could fix that, but I don't think that's actually damage there on that car, so he should be up to speed. And Matt Robinson will retain the lead 8 laps in. So now 38 laps into the season of season number 6. And if it's your first time here, I ask that you hit the subscribe button. We have 36 races this season following the Cup Series schedule all the way through to November. Rob Roeder looking to defend his title after winning 5 championships. He was not the dominant car last season. The 9 of Jeremy Burns had a stellar regular season, put together 10 wins, but just couldn't seal the deal on the championship. Had a couple off races, didn't perform well at a couple of the tracks at the end of the year. And so you come in there with your big points lead, and it slowly dwindles away over 10 weeks. Got to feel bad for Jeremy Burns, but again, he's looking to rebound, and he is up front just behind Matt Robinson, trying to start this season off right. Series registration could still be open. I'm not going to promise anything. But I can give you this information. iRating cap at 3,500. So bear that in mind if you apply. Racing Revolution, the Discord you want to look for. You can find the league on iRacing, the Discord information in that description. League ID, I don't remember. I know it starts with an 8. I'm sorry here, I'm drawing a blank. It's been since November I've talked about Racing Rev, and they've always put on a good show, especially at the road courses last year. The updates to this next-gen stock car put on phenomenal racing at some of the most boring tracks I've ever witnessed. Chicago and the street course has always been a snooze fest for every race I've ever broadcasted, and it put on a last 10-lap charge for Jeremy Burns catching Trevor Keith, and it was the last turn on the last lap that we saw a lead change where Trevor Keith had dominated the day. So it's just one of those situations where I think this car is better on the road course side of things, and hopefully with the update and what they've changed with the horsepower, we'll see some of that at the short tracks. Maybe this will transfer over and we'll see a little bit more competitive racing at some of the tracks that used to have it, such as Kansas, Charlotte, Michigan, those bigger tracks that seem like once you got out to the lead and got in that clean air, this car was just too good to pass. iRacing fixed setups, and of course, dual race number 2. Race length at 30 laps. Of course, the speed limit 60 miles per hour, and we're approaching those green flag pit stops for these drivers. It was around lap 15 that we started it at the last one. Pit road penalties for Roeder and Ben Lapter that put them behind the 8 ball. Will we see that again? Will there be mistakes made that split this pack up? Not as much of a split that we saw at this point in the race in Duel 1. It was about half the pack had broke away. 6 or 7 cars had pulled an 8-second lead before pit stops. This time around, we still have collectively 11 cars with Sam Taylor in the 3 at the back, Matt Robinson at the front, with Jeremy Burns, Michael Reed, Parker Johnston, Al Likens, Grant Turner, Kyle Stewart, Dakota Floyd, and Joe Joya. The sandwich filling in the middle. 66 of Lenz gonna go a lap down after picking up that damage. Gonna try to hang on to the tail end of this draft, but that has got to be a terrible feeling watching these cars pull away. You can see here on the telemetry, he's going 193 miles per hour now. He caught the draft. When these cars went by, he was going 185, so quickly picks up speed, even with the damage, and he's going to suck up to the back end. I believe that's Hamatat in the 87 at the tail end of this group. Holding on here. Michael Reed going to take over the top spot. Gets around Likens, who's dominated the first quarter of this race. First third even of this race. And now our first lead change, really, of the night. Will it be official at the line? Are these cars coming down pit road this time by? I think if you're the outside, you don't have a choice. You got to stay out at least a couple more laps. Another charge from the outside. About 6 cars deep. A move to the inside and just clear with Kyle Stewart. Very ill handling for Sam Taylor. Looked like there was a beehive in the cockpit of that car for a moment. Likens coming by to lead again, somehow. Look at that. Just as fast as the outside develops, it falls apart. And this is the halfway point in this race. Drivers can pit for fuel and make it to the end. Collectively going to see fuel-only pit stops for this one. We don't talk about Chicago Street. Yeah, we're gonna relive that one someday, I'm sure. Cars coming down pit road. The 10 of Kyle Stewart leading them in. On the outside, overshoots the entrance to pit road. And another championship hopeful way overshoots it and gets a black flag. He's going to reach back onto the racetrack, but he's already got the penalty. Michael Reed with a black flag. Matt Robinson. Michael Reed actually went for a spin here. Let's look at it on the replay. There's the 11, who also got a penalty, just overshoots it. And Jeremy Burns, he missed pit road by a mile. It all cycles out. That will split this pack up again like we saw in dual race number 1, but it's a 4-5 car breakaway here. We have a couple lap cars that pulled back into this group. The 30 car of Pennington in this mix. You also have the 31 of Jeremiah Nelson, but it's Likens, Turner, Taylor, and again, Hamatat, if I'm getting that wrong, Brandon's going to be in 4th position here. And with no caution so far, here's a guy that can get it done. We saw him at Atlanta last season. Grant Turner, always good at the super speedways. They'll roll around here. Approaching pit stops for this second group. They're going to push it another lap around. And it's about 39 seconds back here to Parker Johnston, Dakota Floyd, Joe Joya. They've all hit pit road. Kyle Stewart way outside of this, 7 seconds back from this group. And then it's Jeremy Burns, who had to serve the penalty, just now coming back out onto the racetrack. We have driver cams with some of these drivers here tonight. Of course, our race control right now with Kevin Orlando Jr. So he's keeping an eye on all of that as they come down pit road. Grant Turner to the inside. Here we go. There's on board with Grant Turner, trying to find the box. He'll get into the stall and begin pit service. Down and away now for the 39. Turner coming back out onto the racetrack. Lost a little ground to Sam Taylor, who had 6.1 in the box. Taylor taking just enough fuel to make it to the end of this, but they'll inevitably catch back up to this 3-car. And here comes the second group with Parker Johnston. 3.5 seconds down to 3. That's how fast they're closing in. Down to 2 seconds down the backstretch. On board with Parker Johnston. They're not able to fully catch up to this group and overtake them, but do get back to the tail end of the draft. And we're back to about a 10-car field for the lead with Sam Taylor in a car sideways in the background. That's Justice Murphy in the 12 to the outside wall. Single car on the backstretch will stay green. No problem, Sigmund, but there is a problem on the backstretch. The 12 car around looked like Parker Johnston went to the outside. Maybe a block here. Let's look at it from our blimp angle. This is where the 48 catches up to him, and I think the 12 maybe comes up to stop them. And Johnston says, no, I've got the momentum. I'm going to take it 3 wide, but comes back down, and the 12 car goes around. Look to the outside. It's there. It's not. And back to our live setting. You're watching the Chapman Environmental Services Cup Series live on Vspeed. If you're enjoying tonight's action, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race of the 36 race season. The KDL Truck Repair 250 at Daytona. The deciding qualifiers here for the Vspeed Duels. With 8 laps to go in duel number 2. Sam Taylor, your leader. Grant Turner on the back bumper. Dakota Floyd back to the top 3. Matthew Robinson in the 11, who got the speeding penalty. And a lot of cross-pollination here. Ben Laughter, a name that I've said a lot on Saturday nights, racing here on Wednesday now. He dabbled a little bit last season. Now going to go full time for season number 6. Good to have you in here, Ben. I know you're in the chat. Appreciate you coming out and racing here this evening. Sam Taylor, we've got a lot of driver cams, but unfortunately I was not able to get that control center to work properly there in the first duel race, but I'm glad to see the amount of drivers we had with driver cams here tonight. So keep that up. Get more drivers in here. Trevor Earhart, Kevin Orlando, I see you guys. Daniel Holloway, everybody that came in with Carter Lenz, Jeremy Burns always having a camera, Grant Turner. But yeah, love the fact that we have more of a turnout for that feature because we ran that a lot last season. And I'm glad that it's back. That link will not change. It'll be the same all season long to bring these drivers in. Good Locker Racing. Very familiar with that. They, I think they race on days that end with Y. And I covered there on Monday in the ARCA West Series and Friday nights in the Truck Series. I've got a little taste of GLR myself. Eddie Smith's doing a fantastic job with what he does over there and that group. Of course, live right now, if you would like to check that out. On the other side of things, after the dual races, I'm sure they'll be in the closing laps of their event or close to it. Staying green here with 5 laps to go. And this pack a little better organized than the last duel. So it's going to be a little bit dicier for the finish of this. We might see some bad blocks. We might see some late moves. We could see some calamity at the front. And the driver that has the lead might not necessarily be the winner. When we come off of turn 4, we're going to find out here at Daytona with 4 laps to go. Of course, we'll have more commentary in the KDL Truck Repair 250. Alex Gagnon will be joining me back up here in the booth for the start of season number 6 officially. He was my co-commentator last season, was co-commentator with Morgan Cook when Morgan Cook produced season number 3. We'll be glad to have Alex Gagnon back up here in the booth. This is his home track. Would love to see it. Daytona Beach, Florida, to start off season number 6. Sam Taylor trying to get on the front row. 3 laps left, as that's Michael Reed with the issue earlier on pit road. Going to go another lap down, back in 13th position. Still ahead of Jeremy Burns, Fred Pennington, 3 laps down. Still have 8 cars rather on the lead lap. It's Kyle Stewart, the next one at threat to go a lap down, and Sam Taylor is coming off of turn 2 with 3 laps to go. Most likely Kyle Stewart gonna go a lap down as we see some slicing and dicing. Matt Robinson to the inside. Here he goes. To the outside now for the 11th. Onboard look here with the number 11 car losing ground. One more time around at Daytona. Love Where You Live, but presented by Earhart Homes on the white flag. And the slicing and dicing continues as we watch it unfold. 3 wide with lap traffic becoming a factor. It's 4 wide down the backstretch. No one lifting. They navigate around the 10 car. Pamatat turn on the 12. the 10 car to the inside. And Sam Taylor has no contest right now. It's going to take Joe Joya on the outside to get this car to the lead. Can Dakota Floyd take the win? He's got the push. They wreck in the back. And Dakota Floyd across the line by 0.05 of a second. Joe Joya gives the push to the 57 car and gets him across the line. Sam Taylor coming home in second. There's your top 10. And your top 10 rows for the event. As we cycle through these drivers, we'll carry over to the next session. But duel number 2, and we have a warm-up. We're going to take an opportunity to pull some of these drivers in, but we need to find our way to the broadcast booth as we have Michael Bennett down here, winner of duel race number 1. Michael Bennett, do you have a copy?
I do. How's it going?
Well, pretty good, I would say. For you, it sounds like it's really awesome because you get to start on the front row next Wednesday. But, man, the lap traffic, Rob Rader giving you the push there, was not expecting that. I saw Daniel Holloway move to the inside and get behind him. I thought he was going to push Rob past you, and then Rob didn't go with him. He stuck with you.
Well, so Rob was a lap down at that point in time. Right. And Rob is on EXR, which we closely work with. So coming down there at the end, I don't know if you saw, but it was me, and then it was Call, then it was Holloway, then it was Rob. Rob made a move to get behind Call to help me out at the end. And then Call and Holloway made their move too early. And then Rob pretty much was going to blow up his car to push me through. So yeah, worked out in my favor for sure. And I believe because Nick and Jeremy qualified 1-2, they'll get first and second next week. I'll be starting third technically.
So for those guys getting the pole here technically in qualifying, so that makes sense now. That that those drivers, I mean, they made mistakes on pit road, so thank God for them.
Yes, Nick Alves will be starting first, Jeremy Burns will be starting second, and then it'll basically go whatever the finishing order was from me down on the inside row, and then from Dakota down on the outside row.
Well, Michael, you better hit the grid here and get this thing underway. I know there's a little 3-lap shootout that we're going to call Calamity Corner. Don't expect this thing to go green by any means, but good luck.
Well, I missed it, so I missed it. Yep. So we're all good.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming up here. Sorry that you missed the grid here, and
that's all right.
You know, it's not for points; it's just for chaos, right?
Hey, exactly. Yep. So it was fun tonight. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the season. So
gonna start there in row number 2. Congratulations, Michael Bennett. We'll see you next week in the KDL Truck Repair 250.
Thanks, sir.
And so we had a couple rewinds here and a couple wrecks, 2 duel races, and a phenomenal broadcast. Again, if you enjoyed tonight's action, we're going to kind of just eavesdrop on this pace lap, and these guys going to do a 3-lap shootout in the background, in the backdrop, not for points, not for qualifying, just to, I guess, get the frustrations out. If you were maybe upset about not getting to the front in one of your duel races, well, here's an opportunity for these next 3 laps as we pretty much concluded here on Vspeed. I hope you enjoyed tonight's action. We'll watch the green flag drop here for this staged event. This is not for points, not for anything but bragging rights here at Daytona. Again, I was your host, Bradley Cooper, and I think for this one, we'll just go radio silent with the overlays and let them finish things out. The tail end and the kickstart the 2026 season. Again, reminder to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate all of you coming out into the chat. My name is Bradley Cooper with camera packs provided by Dougie Beard. For Adam Baker, Rob Rader, Eddie Smith, all the people involved here at Vspeed to get this brought to you. This is me saying so long from Daytona. 3 laps here at the World Center of Racing. They tracking everybody.
Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
So Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today.
Hey Dad, did you know that replacing your cooling system reduces repair costs and improves energy efficiency? Plus it operates more efficiently, which means more money in my pocket. I mean, your pocket. Hey Dad, did you know that a new cooling system is less noisy and has a smart thermostat you can control from your phone?
How'd you get so smart?
Must be from Mom.
When it comes to your home's most important decisions, make the smart choice and trust your local Cedar Rapids Pro partner. We're in your neighborhood, so call today.